Most dads that I talk to that want to lose fat think that running or cardio and eating less is the answer to actually losing body fat. But here's the problem. When you do it wrong, not only do you lose body fat, but most of the time you end up losing strength, you end up losing muscle, and you end up having zero energy if it's done wrong. And this is why most guys end up looking a lot smaller, scrawnier than they want to, and they don't look strong and athletic the way that you actually are desired or the outcome that you're trying to achieve. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to not only lose the body fat, but maintain your strength, maintain your athleticism, and keep the muscle that you've worked hard to get without having to starve yourself, burn out in the gym, or completely flip your entire workout routine upside down. I'm going to teach you quite simply how to maintain your muscle while decreasing your body fat without making radical changes to your nutrition or your workouts, because let's be real, nothing is more frustrating than when you're trying to do X, Y, and Z and you go from this all or nothing approach, and then once you can't do all anymore, you don't see the results anymore because you don't have simple foundational skills or habits that have led to the results. This all or nothing approach will not work over time. Because if you're being real with yourself, you probably have done something like that before. Maybe you've cut your carbs, or you cut your sugar, or you're gonna start pulling back on that stuff. Maybe you started running or walking and you start hitting 10,000 steps a day. You're gonna start doing it more often. And that's when the scale initially started to go down, but then you started to lose energy, started to lose motivation, and then you stopped doing it. You start feeling a little bit weaker, you don't feel as strong, and then all of a sudden, you're right back where you started. And that's because most fat loss strategies aren't built for dudes in their 30s and 40s. You know, when you still wanna have muscle, still wanna be able to perform, be able to play with your kids, quite frankly, from experience, from being a high caliber athlete, a professional athlete, training with special operators in the military, and now being almost 36, things have changed. I've now been working out since I was 13 years old. I've tried a lot of different things, and I've recognized my body has changed a little bit. So it looks different in your 30s and your 40s. However, effective hybrid training can neglect that. You can still feel the way you want. I'm gonna break it all down. Now, I've worked with hundreds of clients over the last couple of decades, and I've tried everything. I've tried cutting the calories big time, and this has always led to being too lean, too small, and ultimately to burnout and not sustainable. Can I get someone to lose a lot of weight in a quick amount of time? Of course, but it's not sustainable. And if you're in your 30s and 40s, you're not looking for the quick fix. You're looking for the lifestyle change and the habits to be built on that. So I've taken the opposite approach, and instead of trying to cut things way down, flip it on its head, and let's try to take things up, meaning build on small habits. So instead of taking things away, what things in our life can we begin to implement that are going to positively improve your health habits, improve your strength, improve your energy, improve your sleep, improve all the things that you want? I mean, think of it like a fire. If you take away all the wood and you dump oxygen on it, the fire burns out. But if you feed it strategically, if you slowly put in a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there, what happens? The fire gets bigger, the fire gets stronger, and you're building a powerhouse. So we got to do that by putting little logs, little sticks into the fire. And that's exactly how your fat loss strategy should work for when you're wanting to be and train like a hybrid athlete. You feel your body smart, you train smart, and it gets hotter, you get stronger, faster, and your injury prevention and your injuries go down. So here is how to make the old fat loss work without losing your strength and turning into a string bean. I'm gonna break this down into a couple of different pillars, and pillar number one is going to be on strength and what that type of strength training looks like. Pillar two, conditioning and what type of format that should look like. Pillar three is gonna be nutrition and recovery, and this can kind of bleed into like the results side of things. What are you doing when it comes to X, and is it coming to Y? Are we moving in the right direction? So we're gonna break these down in detail. By the way, and I certainly don't do this near as much as I should, but if you're new to watching these videos and we're in the middle of a hybrid training 30-day series, hit the subscribe button, because every day over the next 30 days, I'm breaking down every single topic when it comes to hybrid training. So hit subscribe, because I'm going over fat loss. I'm going over a 3-day hybrid training split, what things you should be tracking, your optimal zone 2 training schedule, your HIIT train, blah, 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 blah. Go back and look at some of those previous videos and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the series. And we talked about this extensively in a video just the other day, but if you're in your 30s and your 40s and you're trying to lose fat. Now we're talking about fat loss because there is a major difference when we're talking about weight, when we're talking about building muscle mass, and when we're trying to drop body fat. Now, cliff notes are, when it comes to your strength work, we want to have a progressive overload on 2 different scales. On week 1, we're doing lower rep range where we are trying to facilitate strength and we're trying to use a lot of time under tension to own the position. An example of that would be like a back squat at a 3-second tempo down, a 3-second hold in the bottom plus an explode up, maybe for something like 5 repetitions. Now, opposite of that would be flipping the opposing week where we're doing something more higher rep based, and we take it from a compound movement of a back squat to now we're doing something like a Bulgarian split squat. We're doing step ups, we're doing step downs, we're doing lunges. We're doing something that requires a lot of volume, something that's going to make you do a lot of repetitions, but still focuses on the same muscle groups, and we're flipping between those 2 exercises. On odd weeks, we're doing this progression. On even weeks, we're doing that progression. Both are moving in the right direction. Now, when we add time under tension, it allows you to not use as much weight, still get a lot of eccentric load to actually facilitate adaptation to change the body recomposition you want. And because you're older, having more time under tension, having more reps is going to decrease your chance of injury, which is what you want. So lifting 2 to 4 days a week is a non-negotiable. It's kind of like your insurance policy. It's got to be in place. It's going to strengthen your tendons. It's going to strengthen your bones. It's going to strengthen your mental capacity, your resilience, and especially if you want to be running, you got to be strong. You got to lift or your body's not going to change. Otherwise, the old weight, muscle mass, and body fat is going to all be, what was I going to say? Weight would be going down, muscle mass would be going down. That's not what you want. And the body fat, who knows what would happen. It would essentially make it harder for you to begin to lose body fat, because as you lose muscle, your metabolism is going to go down. If your metabolism goes down, you have to continue to eat lower amount of calories, which makes it harder, because then that's where the energy crashes. If you're with me, say, I don't know, what do they say? If you're with me, say nutrition. Comment nutrition or something like that. Now, here's the deal about conditioning. Running is probably the best thing for you because you have to handle it. When you get on a rower, when you get on a bike, when you get on a ski erg, when you get on all these different things, the machine is taking the load of the work. So when we can get to running, now there's different ways we get to running. For example, we start off walking. We increase your step count. Then we walk on an incline. Then we add a ruck. Then we increase your step count. Then, if you're new and you're overweight and you haven't ran in a while, then you begin to start running and you start to build up your capacity over time. You don't just go from I don't run to now I'm running, because that's how you end up with shin splints, plantar fasciitis. That's how you end up overtraining, because you're not there yet. Everything needs to be on a progression, guys. And quite frankly, if you're out of shape, one of the easiest ways to do that is by following that exact method that I want you to get to, because as you progress in steps, incline, ruck, walk to run, that type of thing, that is most of the time going to get you guys into a zone 2 heart rate, which is what we want to be doing for fat loss. Because if we're going to be training and lifting hard, training hard enough in a caloric restriction, which we're going to talk about here in a second, if you try to do high intensity conditioning, HIIT training, let's just call it high training. If you do high intensity training, it's going to lead you to end up overeating because you felt the desire to, I don't even know how to describe it. When you train at high intensity, you're probably going to eat more. Now, if you train at a lower intensity at zone 2, when you're trying to lose fat loss, we have to keep the intensity low. So that's why walking, increasing your step, rucking, or dedicated zone 2 work is good, because it makes you stay in low intensity state. Because when you are in a caloric deficit and you want to be able to maintain the muscle mass and lose body fat, we're going to be in a deficit. Now, when you are at a deficit, it's going to be easy to want to skip out on challenging yourself on the muscle side of things, but you can't negotiate that. We have to continue to train hard. We have to continue to work on the physical adaptation, continue with the time under tension, despite being in a caloric deficit. Now, what most people do when they want to get big or they want to get lean is they go through these real extremes. The most success you can have is by making small changes. And I'm talking about 150 to 250 calories per day. That's it, small. Coupled with, probably for most of you guys, 1 gram of protein per desired body weight. Now, when it comes down to it, tracking macronutrients is a very challenging skill, but if you want to get laser focused on what it takes to lose fat, that's what it is. It's strength training with a hypertrophy-based focus. It's lower intensity training to get to your zone 2. Again, it's 180 minus your age. That's going to get you within 5 to 10 beats roughly. And then it is a very small deficit, 150, 250 calories with 1 gram protein over a week's time frame, not just Monday through Friday and then overeating on the weekends and then you're right back at 0. This is what it takes. Now you need to cut out the mindset of forgetting about crash diets, forgetting about these crazy extreme things, cutting out your sugar, cutting out your carbs. It's about a small deficit and emphasizing when you take in your carbohydrates. Have your workout be, let me create some space here, you need to be centering your carbs around your workout time. Optimize your pre-workout carbohydrate intake before your workout. Optimize your post-workout intake to have your carbohydrates. Because when you still take in healthy carbs and it's centered around your workout is not going to suffer. The intensity isn't going to suffer. You're not going to hit that first set of squats or that first set of bench press or that first set of shoulder press and feel completely drained and like you have no more energy or no more strength to keep pushing. Without a lack of carbohydrates around your workout, you will feel tired, sluggish, and you will bonk and your workouts are going to suck. Now, when it comes to recovery, this is the part that most dads, most men, most dudes completely ignore. Optimizing this is a simple step in the right direction for most of you. But when we're talking about things like mobility, when we're talking about hydration, when we're talking about sleep, a lot of you guys are lacking in that compartment or department. Because I'll go ahead and tell you, if you do not recover, guess what doesn't happen? The fat loss will not work. Plain and simple. And without recovering, you're not only not burning the fat, you are just going to be burning yourself. You're going to be burning yourself out because you're not prioritizing recovery and you're going to run yourself into the ground again. Like one of my clients who joined the program was so concerned that by implementing cardio, and he was going to be losing out on his strength and losing out on his muscle. But when we strategically did the lower intensity, he actually found that he started to lose body fat, he started to lose weight, but he was able to actually perform better in his muscle work training because he had better blood flow. He had better, what's the way to describe it? He had better muscular endurance. So he could actually pump out more reps and that led to more strength. It led to more fulfillment because ultimately he was getting the results that he wants because there is positive benefits mentally when you're actually doing low stress cardio as well, obviously. But what most dudes think is, well, I'm going to freaking gun it. I'm going to run. I hate running because I'm going to go run a mile or 2, 3 miles and I'm going to run as fast as I can. Well, if you're extremely aerobically unfit, getting into that zone 2 metric is probably going to be at a lower intensity thing. I've even had some clients refer to it as mall walking because they're just not aerobically fit. So slow down on the intensity. And this is why hybrid training and the method that I have created has worked so well because it couples in everything, not just for the summer body fit, not just trying to get in shape. It's talking about health. It's talking about being strong, feeling good for the kids, feeling good with mental clarity, prioritizing sleep, optimizing your hormones, all of these different things that matters. And the hybrid training has allowed you to do that because it combines both the strength, the muscle side of things, the sleep, the recovery, as opposed to just slinging it like you did in high school, realizing that was 20 years ago and it's not sustainable. But when you couple that with the system that allows you to build both body fat, lose body fat, and muscle, it's a heck of a lot more rewarding. So if you found this video helpful on how to lose fat loss, go ahead and click like, subscribe. Like we talked about, we're in the middle of a 30-day hybrid training series where I'm breaking down every single topic that I can think of. And if you are new to the series, comment down below with what questions you have. So throughout this series, I can actually address. And if you want a personalized hybrid training method for you, for your lifestyle, for your family, for your work life, for the equipment that you have available, for the time you have available, all that fun stuff, check out the description down below. You and I can hop on a call to build your personalized plan. Otherwise, I'll see you for tomorrow's video, and we're gonna be talking about motivation, how motivation doesn't last, and how motivation takes place after you begin to take action. I'll see you tomorrow.